I think I would have loved to see Tom Brady play in the era that we did.
I've been asked that question for many years. Tom is the best.
Tom Brady, Super Bowl champion for the 7th time.
The problem with Tom Brady being so great is that sometimes people don't realize just how impossible his story actually is. Sure, everyone accepts he's the GOAT. It's gospel in football circles now. But because his dominance lasted so long,
I started to improve in my 30s, which doesn't really happen for athletes, because I really started to work on all the things that were making me successful physically.
Because he won so much, some of his most insane accomplishments get buried under the sheer weight of his legacy.
There's no question, Brady's the greatest. 23 seasons, 7 championships, the greatest comeback of all time against Atlanta.
Everyone knows about the 7 rings, the comeback against Atlanta, the 6th round pick who became the greatest ever. But do you know about the records that will never, ever be broken? The statistical impossibilities? The way he didn't just defy Father Time, he embarrassed it. Tom Brady is the single greatest football player who ever lived, and no one, absolutely no one, will ever surpass him. For anyone who wants to argue Mahomes, Montana, or whoever else comes next, you'll see why you're wrong. This is the story of TB12. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. was born on August 3, 1977, in San Mateo, California, about 20 miles south of San Francisco. He was the only son and the youngest of 4 children. His parents, Tom Sr. and Gallon, were die-hard San Francisco 49ers fans, and naturally, young Tom grew up idolizing Joe Montana and the dynasty that dominated the 1980s. Brady attended 49ers games at Candlestick Park. He was actually in the stands for the 1981 NFC Championship game, the one where Montana threw the catch to Dwight Clark to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Brady was only 4 years old, but that moment burned itself into his consciousness. He wanted to be Joe Montana. He wanted those moments. He wanted that glory. But here's the thing about young Tom Brady. Nobody thought he'd ever get close. Brady attended Junipero Serra High School in San Mateo. As a freshman, he made the JV football team as a backup quarterback. He wasn't good enough to start for a team that went 0-8 and didn't score a single touchdown all season. Think about that. Tom Brady couldn't beat out the starter on a winless team that couldn't score. That's the kind of beginning that makes a kid quit football. The starter got injured eventually, and Brady got his shot.
Could never get me out of the batting cage. I was one of those guys. One more. One more. With the thought of taking probably about 30 or 40 in there now.
He played well, but it was clear his real talent was baseball. Brady was a left-handed hitting catcher with legitimate power. MLB scouts took notice. When the 1995 MLB draft came around, the Montreal Expos selected Brady in the 18th round. He was good enough to get drafted by a major league team. That's how mediocre his football prospects looked. He was better at his second sport, but then the University of Michigan showed interest in Brady as a quarterback. He had to make a choice: guaranteed baseball opportunity or a long-shot football dream. Brady chose football. He chose the harder path. He chose the sport where he'd been a backup his entire life. At Michigan, Brady redshirted his freshman year in 1995. Then he sat behind Brian Grease for 2 more years, serving as the backup while Grease led the Wolverines to an undefeated season and a national championship in 1997. Finally, in 1998, Brady earned the starting job. But even then, the coaches didn't fully trust him. For the first 7 games of the 1999 season, Brady had to split time with Drew Henson, a highly touted recruit. Brady would play the first quarter, Henson would play the second, and then the coaches would decide who played the second half based on who performed better. Imagine that. You're the starter, but you're auditioning for your job every single week. Most players would crumble under that pressure. Brady thrived on it.
Feel like he's continuously getting better. Everything he's done for the game and the year that he's had, he definitely number one player.
Against Penn State, he led a fourth quarter comeback to win 31-27. Against Ohio State, tied 17-17 with 5 minutes left. Brady led the game-winning drive. In the Orange Bowl against Alabama, Brady threw for 369 yards and 4 touchdowns in an overtime victory. Even with all that success, when the 2000 NFL draft rolled around, Tom Brady was an afterthought. He ran a 5.28 second 40-yard dash at the Combine, one of the slowest times for a quarterback ever recorded. His body looked soft. His arm was decent, but not special. Scouts said he lacked mobility, lacked wow factor, lacked the tools to succeed at the next level. Every single NFL team passed on him multiple times. The draft went all the way to the 6th round to pick number 199 before the New England Patriots finally selected him. 6 quarterbacks were drafted before Brady: Chad Pennington, Giovanni Carmazzi, Chris Redman, T. Martin, Mark Bulger, and Spurgon Wynn. Only one of those names might ring a bell, and even Bulger wasn't close to Brady's level. Brady's first year in New England, he was 4th on the depth chart behind Drew Bledsoe, John Freese, and Michael Bishop. 4th string. He threw 3 passes all season, completed 1 for 6 yards. The Patriots went 5-11. Brady was a nobody. A 6th-round pick destined to be out of the league in a few years. But then came September 23rd, 2001.
You think about the situation, and I know visiting Drew in the hospital, I mean, he'd love to be out here playing. And it's really my job to step in and pick up where he left off.
Week 2 of the NFL season, the Patriots were playing the New York Jets when Jets linebacker Mo Lewis delivered a devastating hit to Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe suffered a sheared blood vessel in his chest, a life-threatening injury. Tom Brady, the 4th-round afterthought, who was now 2nd string, came into the game, and he never gave the job back. Brady started the rest of the season. The Patriots went 11-3 in his starts, winning the AFC East. His stats were unspectacular. 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a modest 86.5 passer rating, but the team won. They made the playoffs as a wild card and went on an improbable run. They beat the Raiders in the snow in the Tuck Rule game. They beat the Steelers on the road, and then they faced the St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36, the greatest show on turf, a team that had scored 503 points in the regular season and was favored by 2 touchdowns. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. The Rams were loaded. With 1 minute and 21 seconds left in the game, tied 17-17, Brady got the ball on his own. 17-yard line with no timeouts. Legendary coach and commentator John Madden said the Patriots should just run out the clock and play for overtime. You don't try to drive 83 yards in 81 seconds against that defense. You don't risk a mistake. Brady drove 53 yards in 9 plays, getting the Patriots into field goal range. Adam Vinatieri kicked a 48-yarder as time expired. Patriots win 20-17. Brady was Super Bowl champion in his first year as a starter. The 6th-round pick was on top of the football world. It could have been a fluke, a one-time Cinderella story, but Brady's mental toughness wouldn't allow for that. The Patriots went 9-7 in 2002 and missed the playoffs. Adversity, doubt, criticism. Brady absorbed it all. The next year, 2003, the Patriots went 14-2 and won the division. They beat the Panthers 32-29 in Super Bowl 38. Brady won his 2nd ring. Then came 2004. The Patriots went 14-2 again. Back to the Super Bowl again. Beat the Eagles 24-21. Brady's 3rd championship in 4 years. The Patriots became the first team since the 1990s Cowboys to win back-to-back Super Bowls and only the second team ever to win 3 championships in 4 years. At this point, Brady was already in elite company. Only 5 quarterbacks in history had won 3 or more Super Bowls: Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, Troy Aikman, Tom Brady, and that's it. He'd matched his idol Montana's early career, but the question remained, could he sustain it? Here's what's crazy about Brady's career. He got better with age. Most players peak in their late 20s, decline in their early 30s, and are done by 35. Brady broke that model completely. From 2005 to 2007, the Patriots made the playoffs every year but couldn't get back to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Broncos, Colts, and then had their hearts ripped out in 2006 when they lost to Peyton Manning's Colts in the AFC Championship. Critics said Brady's window was closing. He was 30 years old. Maybe his best days were behind him. Then came the 2007 season. The Patriots went 16-0 in the regular season, the first team to do so in the 16-game era. Brady threw 50 touchdown passes and only 8 interceptions, breaking Peyton Manning's single-season touchdown record by 1. It was statistically the greatest quarterback season in NFL history at the time. Brady won unanimous MVP. The Patriots steamrolled through the playoffs. They were 18-0 heading into Super Bowl 42 against the New York Giants, a wild-card team that had no business being there. And the Giants beat them 17-14. David Tyree made the helmet catch. Eli Manning escaped the pass rush. The perfect season died. Brady was devastated. Some legacies are defined by their flaws, and for years, 18-1 was Brady's. But Brady responded the only way he knows how, by getting back to work. In 2008, the first game of the season, Brady tore his ACL. He missed the entire year. The Patriots went 11-5 without him, but missed the playoffs. Brady was 31. ACL injuries ended careers back then. Maybe he was done. He came back in 2009 and threw for 4,398 yards and 28 touchdowns. He was back. Over the next decade, Brady led the Patriots to 9 more AFC Championship games and 6 more Super Bowl appearances. Think about that. From 2011 to 2018, Tom Brady went to 8 straight AFC Championship games. 8 straight years. He made it to the Final Four of the NFL for nearly a decade without interruption. But he was also losing some of those big games. The Giants beat him again in Super Bowl 46 in 2012. The Patriots lost to the Broncos in the 2013 and 2015 AFC Championships. Critics said Brady wasn't clutch anymore. He was getting older, 37, 38 years old. Father Time was catching up. Then came Super Bowl LI, February 5th, 2017. The Atlanta Falcons versus the New England Patriots. The Falcons jumped out to a 28-3 lead early in the third quarter. It was over. Nobody comes back from down 25 points in the Super Bowl. The Falcons had the greatest offense in football. Matt Ryan had won MVP. Julio Jones was unstoppable. It was a massacre. Brady stood in the huddle and told his teammates, "We're going to score every time we have the ball." And they did. Brady orchestrated the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. The Patriots scored 25 unanswered points, sent the game to overtime, and won 34-28. Brady threw for 466 yards, the most ever in a Super Bowl. He completed 43 passes, the most ever in a Super Bowl. He won his 5th championship and 4th Super Bowl MVP. At 39 years old, Tom Brady had pulled off the impossible. But he wasn't done. In 2017, at age 40, Brady won NFL MVP again. In 2018, he went back to the Super Bowl, his 9th appearance, and beat the Rams 13-3 in a defensive slugfest. Championship number 6. He'd passed Montana. He'd passed everyone. No quarterback had ever won 6 Super Bowls. No player in NFL history had won 6 rings except Charles Haley. And then, in March 2020, Brady left New England after 20 years, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 championships, and an unbreakable legacy. He signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was 43 years old. Most quarterbacks retire at 40. Brady was changing teams, learning a new offense, adapting to new teammates. Everyone expected a slow transition year, a rebuilding season, maybe a playoff appearance if things went well. Instead, Brady won the Super Bowl in his first year with Tampa Bay. He beat Drew Brees and the Saints on the road. He beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers on the road. Then, in his 10th Super Bowl appearance, he beat Patrick Mahomes and the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. Championship number 7. At age 43, Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl and 5th Super Bowl MVP. He had more championships than any NFL franchise. 7 rings. It's absurd. It's impossible. It's never happening again. Let's talk about the records because they're staggering. 7 Super Bowl championships. The next closest player has 6. And that's Charles Haley, who never won Super Bowl MVP. Brady won 5 Super Bowl MVPs, the most ever. 5 regular season MVPs, tied with Peyton Manning, the career regular season passing yards leader with 89,214 yards. That's over 50 miles of forward progress. The career touchdown passes leader with 649. No one else has even thrown 600. Most playoff wins by a quarterback, 35. The next closest is Joe Montana with 16. Brady has more than twice as many playoff wins as any other quarterback. He has more playoff appearances, 47, than most quarterbacks have total career starts. Brady played in 10 Super Bowls. The next closest is John Elway with 5. Brady went to twice as many Super Bowls as the second-place guy. And here's the insane part. He won the Super Bowl on 3 different decades. 2001, 2003, 2004 in the 2000s, 2014, 2016, 2018 in the 2000s, and 2020 in the 2000s. His career quarterback rating in the playoffs is 90.8, better than his regular season rating. Most players' numbers decline in the playoffs because the competition is tougher. Brady got better. In elimination games where his team would be eliminated with a loss, Brady was 18-6, 18 wins. In games where one mistake ends your season, Brady almost always found a way. But here's the stat that really captures Brady's greatness. If you split his career into 3 separate careers, his 20s, his 30s, and his 40s, each one would be Hall of Fame worthy on its own. In his 20s, Brady won 3 Super Bowls and appeared in 4. That alone is a Hall of Fame career comparable to Troy Aikman's entire body of work. In his 30s, Brady won 3 more Super Bowls, went to 5 total, set the single-season touchdown record, went 16-0, won 2 MVPs, and threw for over 40,000 yards. That's better than Steve Young's entire career. In his 40s, when most players have been retired for years, Brady won another Super Bowl, went to 2, won another MVP and Super Bowl MVP, threw for over 15,000 yards and 103 touchdowns and made 3 Pro Bowls. That's a Hall of Fame career by itself, comparable to someone like John Elway. 3 Hall of Fame careers in one. That's Tom Brady, and he did it while taking pay cuts. Brady left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table over his career so the Patriots could sign better players. He was the highest paid player in the league at times, but he could have made so much more. He sacrificed money for wins. How many players can say that? Brady's longevity is unprecedented. He played until he was 45 years old, older than most position coaches in the NFL. He played 23 seasons. He was drafted in 2000 and retired in 2023. He played against players who were born after he entered the league. He played in the NFL in 4 different decades. Father Time is undefeated, they say. Every athlete eventually declines, gets hurt, loses a step, and retires. Tom Brady didn't just fight Father Time, he beat him into submission. At 43, he won MVP. At 44, he threw for over 5,000 yards. At 45, he led the league in passing yards and completions. Think about the quarterbacks Tom Brady outlasted: Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Matt Ryan. All of them were drafted between 1998 and 2008. All of them retired before Brady. He outlasted his own generation and the generation after. Brady's mental toughness is the real secret. He used every slight, every doubt, every criticism as fuel. Drafted 199th. He kept the chip on his shoulder for 23 years, lost Super Bowls to the Giants, came back and won 3 more, lost the 2020 playoffs in Tampa, came back at age 44 and threw for 5,316 yards. He wasn't the most talented quarterback. He didn't have the strongest arm. That was Mahomes or Allen or Rodgers. He wasn't the most athletic. That was Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson. But he was the smartest, the toughest, and the most driven. He prepared better than anyone. He understood defenses better than anyone. He made adjustments faster than anyone. And when the game was on the line, he wanted the ball in his hands. Tom Brady's career is a monument to human willpower. It's proof that mentality matters more than physical gifts. It's a testament to discipline, preparation, and an obsessive refusal to accept anything less than perfection. He turned every weakness into a strength, every setback into motivation, every loss into a lesson. That's why no one will ever surpass Tom Brady. It's not enough to be talented. It's not enough to win a few championships. You have to sustain excellence for a quarter century. You have to win on multiple teams. You have to break Father Time's ankles and play elite football in your mid-40s. You have to win 7 championships and appear in 10 Super Bowls. You have to redefine what's possible. Tom Brady did all that. The 6th-round pick, the backup, the underdog, the one nobody believed in. He became the greatest football player who ever lived.